Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I have never made a video like this. I've never wanted to make a video like this. It's the last thing on the planet I ever wanted to do is make a video like this. And the truth is, I can't remember a time in my life where I have had my feelings hurt as bad as they are now, or been as disappointed as I am now. And for that reason, I have thought for probably going on a month about making this video, and I just didn't want to do it, and I certainly didn't want to ever come across in any way as being ugly, because it's really not who I am. But I've been put in a position, and I hate being put in this kind of position, but I've been put in a position where I have no other choice. And so I decided that I would make this video. And I don't make this, and I want to make sure people understand, I don't make this video. It's not coming from a place of anger. It's coming from a place of real hurt. And before I get going on this video, I want to first kind of tell you how I got to this place. I started, and I've told the story on my channel before, I started this channel in May, I believe it was May of 2018. And I've told the story of how I was in the backyard and I was literally mowing my grass, and my dad said, well, you know, I've been watching these videos and online, and you've been in this cryptocurrency thing for quite a while, and you have you know all this stuff, and so you could talk about this and do one of these videos. So I literally took that idea. Now, the backdrop to that is there were two guys who I watched for quite some time before that, and once he planted that seed in my mind. And I've talked about this on my channel a lot. There were two guys that I watched. One was Jungle Inc., and the other was Alex Cobb. And I was impressed with both of them. Jungle Inc. because he seemed to really get it and be so positive, and Alex Cobb because he was a young guy and he seemed to be so well read on Ripple and XRP and these types of things. And so I spent a while studying, and as you all know, I struggled with the technology of the thing and still do. It's awful. And I understand, and my mic goes in, my mic goes out. It's still a thing with my channel. But those two guys, and I've said it the entire existence of my channel, those two guys inspired me to do my channel. Now, the interesting thing was that as my channel grew, and as I became more a part of the XRP community and more a part of Ripple and all of this, I got to know those two guys, and I got to know them both as very nice guys. And I've never said a bad thing about them. They never said a bad thing about me. I messaged back and forth with both of them behind the scenes, and that's, not things that I would share publicly, of course, but I got to know these guys, and they were nice guys, and we helped each other. We talked to each other. We would send each other messages, and they were always very encouraging, and I was very encouraging to them. This is part of the reason that my feelings are so hurt in this thing. Part of the reason I'm so disappointed and my feelings are so hurt is because I have never experienced in my entire life what I've experienced in the last month. And that's why I'm doing this video. As many of you know, over the last 2 years, I've been doing 2 or 3 videos a day, and I do the news. I talk about Ripple and XRP and digital assets. That is what I do. Jungle Inc. does a similar thing, but you're always looking with Jungle Inc. You're always looking at he likes those the scenes of like the Roman Empire and different things, and that's cool. He's got his thing. Alex Cobb does his live streams. I do my news, and you get to hear sound effects because I'm not totally prepared, and I'm an older guy, and I'm not as good with the technology. So it's kind of become my signature that I don't have as good of a setup as some of these young guys. So I spend a year or two building this channel, and I built myself up to a good amount of subscribers, and things worked out well. And then this, as many of you know, I had planned to go to Las Vegas to the World Crypto Conference because I had never been to a crypto conference. Well, as I recall, right when I was about to go to that, after almost 2 years of building my channel, I receive via direct message on Twitter an invitation from Ripple. This is like the dream come true. It's like the story of stories. You're sitting there and you see this come through. Ripple had never communicated with me in any significant way ever. And so it's kind of like a dream come true. You build this channel, and you've made all these friends and all this in the XRP community, and all of a sudden you get an invitation to go to Swell, Ripple's event. And at that point, I already had a trip to Vegas planned. So my immediate problem was that I was going to have to tell my wife that I don't have any choice but to go and buy a plane ticket to Singapore. And my wife, God not rest her soul, but God bless her soul, she was not in any way. She knew the second she heard that I had worked for a year and a half, 2 years, almost 2 years, building this channel and becoming a part of this community. And she realized at that moment that I did not have any choice. And my sons, who have grown up within 5 feet of me because I've worked from home their whole life, all of a sudden were confronted with their father leaving home for not just for Vegas. Whoops, I just lost something. Like I said, the technology, folks. But my sons who, well, if I can get that back up, my sons who had never been away from their father for really more than a day or two in their whole life, all of a sudden their father is going to Vegas and then to Singapore. And it was a real thing, and it really hit home with me as well as with them. And it was really kind of an emotional thing because I knew I had to go. I knew it was one of those moments in my life that I had to do it. But at the same time, it was kind of sad for me. And so I decided that I knew I had to do it. And so I decided I was going to go. And my wife was completely on board with it because she knew how hard that I'd worked, and she knew what a significant moment it was. It was a significant moment for Ripple as well because Ripple had never done this before with XRP community members. And so over the course of that time, I had been on the phone and gotten to know, and I was very careful over that year and a half. I was scared. I didn't know who I could trust because this is all coming from the internet. I didn't know who I could trust. Mr. B was the first guy I ever spoke to, and I got to know him, and I got to know that I could trust him. And then from that, I met Brad Combs, got to know these guys, spent some time getting to know these guys for at least a month to 3 months before Vegas. And then over the course of that time, I got comfortable with those guys. And so we were going to go and we were going to meet and actually get to meet each other out there. Now, in the course of that, Brad comes and one of his friends had decided they were going to do a documentary, which I have absolutely nothing to do with. I have nothing to do with the documentary. Mr. B has nothing to do with the documentary. Never have. Never received a penny from it. Anytime I've talked about their documentary, it's because Brad Combs is my friend and only because he's my friend, period. So we decided to go out to Vegas, and we're going to go out there to this blockchain event because none of us have ever been to one of these conferences. It'll be cool. Brad's going to be able to film some of his documentary, and we're going to get to know each other better and all of this. And then right before we went to that, of course, was when the Swell invites came in. Okay. So that's where it was. So we go to Swell. I did a couple of when we were at Swell. I did a couple of live streams in Vegas. I did my first live stream. We go to Swell. I did a couple of live streams, which were, okay live streams because it's not what I'm used to doing. It's not really my thing. Now, another thing we did, because I had never, ever in my entire life been anything except nice to Alex Cobb, and he had never been anything but nice to me. While we were out there, I could have done it myself, but we decided that it was the right thing to do to call into Alex Cobb's show and to call into Aiden Trading's show, because it was the right thing to do, to not just hog all of that for ourselves. And so we called in to Alex Cobb's show. And this is one of the many parts of this that is the reason that my feelings are so hurt in this whole situation. Because this all went from friends to overnight someone puts out a video about me that's completely untrue for no reason, without ever contacting me, without ever contacting Mr. B, without ever contacting Brad Combs. And this is after we've all been friends for all this time. That is the thing that is so unbelievably hurtful about this whole situation. And for those of you that don't know, I'm getting there. So we do a live stream remote from Swell, from the XRP Community Clubhouse, where we call into Alex Cobb's show, and we talk to Alex Cobb, and then I think after that we called into Aiden Trading's show, and both of them were able to promo a live stream with us from Swell, live from Swell, which we gladly did because they were our friends, which you would do for any friend. So I come back, and in the course of all this, I'm sorry, my screen is, now here we go. We come back, and in the course of all of this, myself, Brad, and Mr. B, we decided that we would like to work together on a different level. As we talked about it more and more, we decided that we looked around and we saw that everybody had or not everybody, but a lot of YouTubers had Patreon groups, and they had groups where a Patreon group, for those of you that don't know, is a group where you get you can set it where people can pay different levels to get different benefits of being a part of the group. Well, we said, well, other people have these groups. Why don't us three get together and we'll form a joint group, and then in our spare time, we'll continue to do what we've always done for the community for free. We upload our videos just like we said we would do. And then in addition to that, we're going to work overtime for this group, and anybody who wants to join the group can join the group. Somehow, some way, and so we decided to do a live stream to announce our group. Somehow, some way, and maybe if I have one failing or in this whole thing, if I'm guilty of anything, maybe something was worded wrong. I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, my feelings are so, I'm dumbfounded. My feelings are so hurt, and I'm so disappointed over the last month or so. Somehow, some way, the impression came across out of the live stream I did with Brad and Mr. B a false impression came out that somehow we had decided to withhold major things from when we went to Swell, and that we would withhold those, and then we would ask people to pay to join a group to be able to access those things. And this is where this gets extremely hurtful for me. And it really, really, I've never ever had any friend in my entire life that has done anything to this like me without even speaking to me. The next day, or it was either the next day or the day after that, someone, I don't even remember who, made me aware of the video that you're looking at right here, holding back Swell content when the XRP community got you there. I think it was something to the effect of that, got you there. This video right here from the day that it was posted, and in this video, and many of you probably saw it, in this video, a guy who, now, and the other thing I would like to mention, Alex Cobb is 19 years old. On my channel, and you can go back and listen to my channel for the last year and a half, 2 years. There's one thing, and I told Mr. B this, there's one thing that you will never hear on any of my shows when I've referenced Alex Cobb, ever. I have never, and it's been intentional, I have never in my entire life, because I've heard many people do it, and I've never referenced Alex Cobb as a kid, and there's a specific reason for that. I'm 45 years old. Alex Cobb is 19 years old. I have intentionally never referenced Alex Cobb as a kid, and the reason I have not is because I was so impressed with him, and I've told my audience this many, many times, that I always thought that it was so insulting that people would refer to him as a kid, because I thought he deserved a lot more respect than that. And for that reason, I did not do it. And I never have done it. Okay. And so when I saw this video, from the time this video was posted for the next probably 2 to 3 weeks, I was called names that I have never been called in my life. I was called, and this is to 20,000+ people that this video stayed up and was let to be shown to. I was called a liar, a scam artist, you name it. There were videos that were put of me online in sexual positions, you name it, it's been done. It doesn't matter what you can even imagine, it's been done. And I literally could not believe what I was seeing. But more than that, and this is the part that was so awful and so hurtful, is that Alex Cobb made that video without ever, this is after a year and a half plus of my being nothing but supportive and nice and complimenting him on my channel and telling people to go watch his videos and talking about how he inspired me to do his channel. And he did not reach out to me. He did not send one message to me. He did not call me. He did not say a word to me. He did not say a word to Mr. B. He did not say a word to Brad Combs. All three people are good people who have been nothing but nice, who have supported him, who have been nice to him, who have told everybody what a smart guy he is. And I intentionally used the word guy because I wasn't going to call a guy a kid who had done as much at age 19 as much that was productive at the age of 19 as he had never. And as I sit here right now at 9 o'clock on a Friday night, my feelings are so hurt and I'm so stunned by it here. This is January the 3rd, that not only was it done, it's bad enough that it's done. And here's the problem. The problem is None of it was true. Not one thing in that video was true. And he took the video down as of about 2 days ago. And he took the video down and did not come out and say, listen, because everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. And so I don't hold Alex Cobb to some standard that I wouldn't hold anybody else to. Everybody on this planet, Lord knows I've made my share of mistakes, but I've been held accountable for my mistakes. And when I can remember when I was a kid, I can remember rolling someone's house, and I can remember my dad making me go to their house and sit in their living room and apologize to them and then go out and clean it up. As I sit here, I am more hurt probably than I've ever been in my entire life, because Alex Cobb, who is a smart kid, I don't even want to use the kid now. He's a smart guy, and he knows better. And as he sits at home right now, whatever he's doing, he knows everything in his gut is telling him that what he did was wrong, and he knows it was wrong. And he knows that he defamed not one, not two, but 3 men, not just men, but family men, good men. These are not bad people. These are people who are good people, who have never been anything but nice, never been anything but good to him. And he turned his back on those 3 men without even giving them the consideration of hearing their side of the story before he did it, which really makes me question the motives, and it really makes me it makes me sick to my stomach when I think about it. And what I've just told you is the 1000% truth. And I want to reiterate everything in this video. Now, this video right here is about Brad Combs and his, this was a double down on what was not right here, which is another thing altogether. But I just want to finish this up by saying 2 things, really. The first thing is everything awful, and I do mean awful, that is said about me and my friends in this video, it's all untrue. And Alex Cobb has taken this video down for a reason. And he doesn't want to talk about it anymore for a reason. But he owes us not an apology, a public apology, because he just defamed 3 good men's name in front of over 20,000 people. And I'm not saying this out of anger. I am saying it out of what's right, not anger. What's right is to right the wrong. And this video that I recorded is purely because Alex, I know, is a good person, and I know he made a mistake. But sometimes when we make mistakes, we have a choice. We can paint ourselves into a corner and go the wrong way, or we can do the right thing. And I, like I said, I didn't want to make this video. I don't make these kind of videos. This is not, I don't want to talk about this kind of stuff. I want to talk about digital assets and Ripple, because I think that our lives are going to change. And that's why I'm here. But I have never in my entire life, Mr. B has never in his entire life, Brad Combs has never in his entire life had someone come out and call them a liar and call them a scammer, and then go into the shadows, disappear, take a break for a while, then come back out and think everything's going to be okay. And you don't have to address the elephant in the room. You just take the video down, and you don't have to tell people the truth. And the truth is going to be right here in the room. And I don't care. And again, I don't want to come from a place of anger. This video that I'm putting up right here is about as heartfelt as it gets. And trust me, I've gone through all the emotions, But this is the correct emotion because it's true. A lot of times people strike out in anger when someone hurts them. But the truth of the matter is, and I'll leave you with this, from the day that I ever spoke to Alex Cobb or spoke about Alex Cobb, I was nice to him. I spoke highly of him. I gave him the respect of not calling the kid because I thought that he had earned the right not to be called a kid in this space. I gave him that respect, and I've given it to him from this day. And to have this done to me and have somebody turn around and stab me in the back like this, it has never been done to me. I'm 45 years old. I've never, ever had this happen to me in my entire life. And I sure haven't been called a liar, much less a scammer. And so this video, and I'm closing here. I've earned, and the right thing to do, and not just me, but Mr. B and Brad Combs, the right thing to do, Alex, is to give us the public apology and acknowledge that the things in this video are not true, because you know they're not true, and that is why you took it down. And it's not going to go away. This will always, and I'm now talking to you just like I would talk to one of my sons. This kind of stuff will be a cloud over your head for the rest of your life. And it is not a bad thing to learn a lesson like this now, because you've got a bright future ahead of you. But when you proceed forward with your life thinking that this kind of thing is okay, it will haunt you for the rest of your life. And I like you, Alex. I do not dislike you. And the second that you retract what you said and you issue a public apology, this is done. And you're my friend again. And I won't have a bad thing to say about you because it's the right thing to do. And I will respect you once again. I am the digital asset investor, and I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. I didn't want to make this, but I didn't have any choice. Didn't feel like I had any choice. Thank you for listening.